Hey everyone, it's Will, GamerDad, with another video for you. So of course, being that this is still update 2.6.6, your version should actually be the up-to-date version. So as long as you actually just force reset the game if you've been playing a little bit earlier, you should have the newest content, which of course is A.S. Leclerc's manifest weapon, which I will upload shortly, as well as the newest banner, which is A.S. Ewan, as well as the long-awaited Weapon Zone banner. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. So tonight's episode of Should You Summon will cover these two banners in its various forms. So first of all, let's bring up the obviously the Fateful, which is for A.S. Ewan. Let's take a look here. And you can see that same like other Fatefuls, we got a 10% flat chance on the 10th pull to guarantee you a 5-star, as well as if you miss on A.S. Ewan, you'll get one of the other random 5-star heroes. And like most paid Fatefuls, all the newest units are in there, including obviously Melissa, A.S. Rosetta, for example, and so on and so forth. Now, keep in mind, you do have a chance of getting A.S. Ewan in one of the 1 to 9 pulls too, so don't feel too bad about only having a flat chance of a 10% on the last pull. And we can also bring up the regular paid as well as non-paid version for people who want to spend paid or free stones. This one will be split with A.S. Leclerc, and the reason for that, of course, is that A.S. Leclerc is featured as a one and only manifest battle for this update. So you can see that A.S. Ewan is still 0.8% chance, Leclerc is 0.8% chance, and note their 4.5s are not boosted in this banner. So you really are only targeting the 5-star AS versions. Otherwise, you leave the rest of it up to chance, and of course, long shots for some of the other 5-stars, including Melissa. Rosetta AS is still in here. And of course, for those who missed yesterday's update notice, A.S. Ewan is one of the only units that can participate in all Weapon Zone attacks. So basically, his spam move is one that can participate in Slash, Pierce, Blunt, or Magic Zone. So depending on what zone is either established by yourself or the enemy, his fire attack will now convert to that zone, which will mean it will power up the bar when you're doing AF, for example. It's also extremely powerful. He can stack curses on himself, and the more stacks obviously increase his crit rate, as well as his own fire type attack, because he is still a fire-based blunt hammer user. He retains all his 4-star moves, of course, as well as gains an additional 5-star move, which essentially is a priority self-damage move, but gives physical and type resistance of all party members plus 30% and reduces MP cost of all party members by 30%, and I'm assuming that's for 3 turns. Now back to his spam move, it has auto crit damage increased by 100%. So remember that crit damage already does double, and so if you increase it by 100%, you're essentially doing 3 times the damage when you do a crit move over the regular move. And this is one of the reasons why A.S. Ewan is so highly sought after. If you can put him on an auto crit team, and of course you have things like A.S. Sukiya, A.S. Miyu, all these other fire zone type units or fire slash type units, or even any other guaranteed crit moves, he's going to do a tremendous amount of damage. So keep in mind, he by nature is a blunt unit. He can be used in blunt zone, but like I said, he can participate in all weapon zones, as well as of course fire zone as well. Otherwise, I mean, there's really no downside to having him, being that he can fit in all weapon zone teams, and like I said, he is one of the top tier DPS. The only downside, of course, is that you are sharing a banner with A.S. Leclerc. Now, A.S. Leclerc is no slouch either. She is, of course, I haven't covered her earlier on, but she is a bow-carrying water pierce DPS. After Manifest, she will have guaranteed pain setting, as well as her damage will increase, being that her move now doesn't remove the, the stack you push on the enemy during the AF. And just like all other kind of AS characters that have their manifest, like AS Suzette, for example, where when you spam that Exquisite Blossom, my waifu just keeps on doing the damage over and over again, her multiplier will be through the roof as well. So I guess if you have none of these units, that is no Ewan, no Leclerc in any form, this is, I would recommend a 9 or 10 out of 10 banner to summon on. I just think that the power levels, especially of AS Ewan, but even as AS Leclerc to a lesser extent, would do very well on multiple teams. Obviously, we talked about AS Ewan already, but AS Leclerc will help AS Foreign do some Water Pierce, for example. It would fit on bow type Pierce teams, and don't forget the AS Seals boost will help other bow users such as her. Yeah, really good banner. Now, the more interesting thing is whether or not you have one or both units in some form. So, first of all, let's cover Leclerc, being that she's considered the lesser unit in this banner. If you have any form of Leclerc, and you already have any form of Ewan, obviously it should be a pass if you're free to play, and unless you're a dolphin or a whale that doesn't mind spending extra paid stones in order to try to save some chat scripts and treatises and just get the guaranteed upgrade right away, then, you know, as a free to play who has both forms of these units, you would pass. If you don't have AS Ewan or any Ewan, I would still consider this worthwhile to summon on. And the reason for that is if we look ahead to Japan, and we're like a few months behind, there's no other banner that I can think of that I've seen so far where AS Ewan will be featured again for some time. So if he's your husbando, for example, or you really need someone to kind of shore up any of your weapon zones, or even your fire based team or blunt based team, he is your guy to go to. Okay, so let's cover the other interesting banner here. So this one is for both paid as well as free stones, and you can see the 6 units are featured here. These are all the weapon zone setters, other than of course our free weapon zone setter or slash zone setter Crest. And unfortunately, Melissa, being that she's not really a weapon zone setter, she's more of a flash strike stance, so very unique one. You don't get her in this one. So take a look. This banner, keep in mind, only has the 6 5-stars that are featured. So AS Ewan, AS Alulu, AS Rosetta, Yifa Radius, and AS Foreign. You will not be able to off-banner any other 5-stars, although you can see that their 4.5s will be here. You can still see 4.5 Melissa, Hina, Yukino, obviously some of the newer units, very powerful, and so on and so forth. Also, keep in mind that if you look at the 4.5 versions of Ewan and Alulu and the other zone setters, only Yifa and Radius will be boosted. And there, I would say, some of the older units that have already been, well, Radius has only been featured in one really, but Yifa's been featured many times in previous banners. So, should you summon on this weapon zone banner? Well, again, just like the previous banner, it really depends on your situation in your game right now. Now, first of all, we'll talk from a free-to-play standpoint, because I guess my channel usually focuses on free-to-play standpoints. So first of all, AS Foreign, at this point in the game, you should have some form of Foreign, and she's been out for a number of months, and I hope that some, if not most of you, have grinded most of the treatises and chants required for AS Foreign. So I would consider the vast majority of you have access to AS Foreign already. We also already have access to a free crest, which is Slash Zone. So we have Slash and Pierce covered. I would also, so you only really have 3 other characters that you really want to go for. Yifa, Rosetta AS, and Ewan. And the reason I left up AS Alulu is that, first of all, AS Alulu does have her own dedicated banner if you really want a 3rd slash unit for a zone setter. I know she is very powerful and she has high-end wind DPS, but we're talking strictly from a zone standpoint, because the reason you would want to summon on this banner is if you only essentially have AS Foreign, and that's pretty much it. If you have more like 3 or more of these units, I would give this a hard pass. And the reason for this is twofold. First of all, your chance of running into a dupe is extremely high. Also, keep in mind that there are no other 5-star you can off banner. So essentially, you're either going to dupe up, or obviously you can get one of the, say, 3 or 2 units you are missing. Keep in mind that the 10th pull overall odds on these weapon zone banners are essentially the same as most 10 pulls. 3.3% chance on regular pulls or single pulls, and on the 10th pull, if you do a 10 pull, about 3.6%. So still not enhanced like some of the other special, anniversary banners, shall we say. So again, just to reiterate, unless you're missing almost all of them and you really only have AS Foreign, you should pass on this banner. If you need AS Ewan, of course, you can go on the other banner that AS Ewan is featured in. If you need AS Lulu or you want AS Lulu, you can do her on her own featured banner. And in terms of the other three, I mean, it's not that Radius is bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just that you have to understand that, again, just with all banners, as a free-to-play, you really have to plan ahead and see if the stones here are worth your pull versus some of the future banners out there. And so, if you already have a majority of these units, or at least some exposure to some of these units, you really don't want to be spending your stones on this one. So, yeah, I know that a lot of people want to rate this one a 10 out of 10 banner, but I would give this at most an 8 out of 10. The reason is that already you have a devaluation with the slash zone units as well as pierce zone units, and the value of the banner, in my opinion, goes down tremendously as you have even one or more of this. So if you're wondering whether or not I'll be summoning on either of these banners, keep in mind that under the same guidelines as a free-to-play as well as how many units I have all the units on this particular banner except for a Lulu in some form. And so I'll have to give this one a pass. In the case of AS Ewan and AS Leclerc, I already side-graded AS Leclerc, and I do have OG Ewan, and so I will be forced to pass on this and try to grind out the treatises as well, thereby saving some of my precious free Chrono Stones for future banners. And I hope that some of you also decide to pass on it if you do have the majority of these units, and save for one of the future units that you don't have any form of, or even some that you might need for powerful strategies. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.